Who are you? Where are you?
I think I'm a woman, so I have, you know, I'm a mom when I'm with my son, and I'm everything in every different environment. I mean, I've always been a bit wild, but I've never intentionally hurt anybody. So I've always been, I think, good-hearted, but wild and free. And I don't take too much for granted, and I don't ever say, well, this is it, and this is how it's going to be the rest of my life. It's like looking around this trailer and this great set and being on a film. It's great, but tomorrow I could be home doing nothing, looking for a job, and completely redoing myself as a person, trying to figure out who I am all over again. Falling in love is like a war. It's easy to start, but really hard to finish. Just go like that.
And who do you do this to?
In the chair.
Really? Okay, all right.
If they've written about my relationship with women, they've summed it up and made it not the beautiful thing it was. They haven't expressed what I'm trying to express. They'll take it and they'll criticize it, or they'll do something. They'll make something nasty out of something that's so beautiful. I have two very pointy black tribal designs. I have a quote. It's in Latin, and it means, "What nourishes me also destroys me."
Do you know the Latin for that?
Quod me nutrit me destruit. I think I was questioning whether all those that part of me that, you know, with my tattoos and my wild side and my darker side, whether that same person could also be one day a wife and a mother and a good friend and innocent and sweet and funny, you know, and could I ever be that, and was I really anything close to that?
And to be able to enjoy the kids. They play with them, they change their diapers, they call them their babies, and they dress them up, and, you know, they have fun.
Freedom is pretty to me, you know, so yeah, things that maybe are dangerous, they make you feel alive, make you feel, you know, free.
The eye from horseback. I pumped the shotgun and the shell came into my eye.
I feel just better about myself as a person, that I have some use in my life, that I could die tomorrow knowing that I've done something that's of value to other people.
Do you look back on when you were younger and think, like, what was I doing?
I just know it's going to come back at me very soon with my children. I know they're going to be like, what were you doing?
Right. Yeah, how do you explain it, like, when your kids were teenagers and you try to discipline them and they're like, you used to wear blood around your neck.
You just say, yes, I did.
I think most people, I mean, that's why they call it teenage angst and all that. I mean, most people growing up have some kind of questions about who they are and what their purpose is. And I think certainly that doesn't help when sometimes you've become successful, and you've become successful for not really accomplishing amazing, important things, but for maybe doing something that becomes popular. And so you can feel a bit empty or confused why you're getting so much attention for something that was just a piece of art or something that you did. And so I think that can be a very strange time to not know what to do with this newfound success or wealth and not have a purpose for it. So I think it takes that to balance. I mean, if you care about something and it's important to you and you think it's worth doing, whether you do it perfectly or not shouldn't matter. I think it just should matter most what you're attempting and where your heart is when you're doing it. And
the duality of the self that I think we all have, and that side of us that maybe we don't know what we're capable of, or maybe we have things we're ashamed of, or sides of ourselves that we don't want people to know about. And we maybe would like to think that we could be pure, or that we're good people, or that we're... so we wonder if we can ever be loved for everything that we are.
You have to find a way to be consistent in your life every day and be aware of making a difference every day, being aware of raising your children the right way every day, and all of those things.
I mean, I think what's risky is living your life and never trying for anything, and never doing something brave, and never getting yourself scared. I went through heavy, darker times, and I survived them. I didn't die young, so I'm very lucky. There are other artists and people that didn't survive certain things.
There is no disgrace in being a survivor of sexual violence, that the shame is on the aggressor. There is nothing inevitable about it. It is a weapon of war aimed at civilians. It has nothing to do with sex, everything to do with power. It is done to torture and humiliate innocent people, and often very young children.
So there's a part of this film that is, in a fun way for children, saying, be yourself. Because when you try to be anything different, when you try to cover your horns, when you try to be something different than you are, when you try to go against your true nature, it's going to suffocate you inside, and it's not what you're born to be. So whether the world can handle it or not, it's not your problem.
Be yourself.
She was a great listener and a great friend. She was my best friend. And so I could talk to her about everything. And she, I guess she made me feel like I had a voice, and that no matter what would happen, I knew she'd love me.
We all have something inside of us and that maybe we feel is misunderstood, or if we let it out completely and we were completely who we are, it might not be accepted. But then I think, you know, what are we doing on this earth if not to figure out what that is that makes us uniquely us and be it, and then find those who accept us for it.
I hope is there's that fire in all of us, and so often when you're young or at different times in your life, you think that there's something wrong with that. It's a bad thing because it's misdirected, and you don't know if you're a good person, and you don't know what you're contributing. You feel like, and that it is that fight and that fire and that little bit of trouble that if directed in the right way, it can be a force for good and brave and wonderful. And I think that's and I say that to my kids if they get in trouble because they've done something and they feel like they did something wrong and bad, that there is a right and a wrong, but it's also not to feel like they're bad. And it's fire, like Louis has fire. And
all of us here are different people, but we have something quite radical in common. We have the freedom to be artists, the freedom to create, to challenge authority fearlessly, to laugh at power and make others laugh with us, the right to speak truth as we see it.
the reality is, for many years I thought how nice so many people are helping with all these things. You know, the good people are doing a lot of nice things for people, for these desperate families. And then it was brought to my attention that there is this document, the Declaration of Human Rights. And what it says is that these are not things that nice charities do for poor people, but that these are the law. It's the law. Children should have an education. People should have the right to seek asylum. If they are in danger, they should have a right to protect their families. This is the law of the land. With all of the things that happen in the news, we often get so focused on there's so many big things that are happening, but as they happen, there's so many things that continue on, like Congo, like Uganda, and all the child soldiers. There's so many things we must keep remembering, keep fresh in our minds, because they are certainly not solved.
You have to make all the mistakes. You have to go through everything. You have to just, because everything somehow leads to something else, and it's you. So I would just like hang on. That's what I would say to my younger self. Just hang on.
Strap yourself
Hang
in.
on.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. You're gonna love being a mom.
Okay.
Oh, you know.
Damn it, you got me crying.
I don't mean to make you cry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. No, it's a part of life. So I'm at a strange, I suppose, place in my life. I think that happens when you lose a parent, where you drop into a different kind of serious.
There's so much hate these days. There's so much discomfort with people from other countries that we don't know and people that are foreign to us. And I think to remind everybody to be open to why people flee, why people cross the border. It's not just for economic reasons. Some people are really running for their lives and have been through horrific things and are really willing to work hard in a new country and try to just be good citizens and have a good life. And so this film certainly helps to give that message.